It's the International Soccer Preview. We are Soccerphiles Canada. Here we go. Hello and welcome to the International Soccer Preview by Soccerphiles Canada. I'm Kevin, and this is a continuation of Series 32 on the players of the 2026 World Cup. This episode is part 2 of our coverage of Qatar's players. We're going to move on to Section 3, and we want to welcome new listeners to our Spotlight Review. Spotlight Review is a race through the squad, reviewing, summarizing what we covered in Section 2 of the full version here. So we go to the top of the list and race through it. For the third time, really, because in part 1 we introduced all of these candidates. We begin with manager Julian Lopetegui, and he is selected, we will say, because he wasn't replaced before the start here. So he will guide them through the tournament. We have goalkeepers, a definite goalkeeper in Meshal Barsham, and two likely candidates. Oh, sorry, Barsham was selected. Two likely candidates, Mahmoud Abunada and Salah Zakaria, both of those selected for the squad. Our possible candidate, Shihab El-Ethi, made their 34-man preliminary squad, but not the final cut there. We also had a new goalkeeper brought in, Fahad Yunus, but just making the preliminary squad there. So we finished with our three most likely candidates here. Up until not so long ago, it looked like Meshal Barsham was the definite starting keeper, but recent developments have made Mahmoud Abunada a challenger there, so we give both of them 1 point as possible starters. Moving on to defenders, two candidates at the definite level. The first one, Lucas Mendes, was selected, but the second one, surprisingly, Tariq Salman, was not selected. He just made the preliminary squad. We had 5 possible candidates. I'll go through the ones who were selected first. It was Boualem Kouki selected, Al-Hashmi Al-Hussein also selected, and Issa Lahi also selected. We're going to see later that he seems more like a central midfielder than a central defender, but he's coded as a central defender. One of the 5 just made the preliminary squad, like Tariq Salman. Bassam Hisham Al-Rawi just making the preliminary squad. And then, sorry, there were 6 on the list, not 5. I made that mistake in Section 2 as well. What's wrong with me? So 2 candidates not making even the preliminary squad, Ahmed Suhai and Yusuf Ayman or Yusuf Ayman Farahat. There. We're not going to look at candidates at the possible but unlikely level or the seemingly off the squad level in this run through, or even new candidates unless they make at least a preliminary squad there. Let's go to left backs. We have a definite candidate in Homam Ahmed or Homam El Amin. He was selected for the squad. Put on the brakes. I didn't do the starters for central defenders. Let's go back and go through it. We think Lucas Mendes is a likely starter. Boualem Kouki, a likely starter as well. And that's all we could really say there. We're going to give 1 star to Pedro Miguel. He's coming up as a right back, as a central defender. Issa Lahi, we're going to give 1 star as a possible starter, not in central defence, but in central midfield there. Okay, now we're moving on to left backs. And we have definite candidate Homam Ahmed or Homam Ahmed Al Amin, and he was selected for the squad. And likely candidate Sultan Al Buraik, he was selected also for the squad there. However, possible candidate Mohamed Wad, I'm a bit surprised he was not selected. He just made the preliminary squad there, Mohamed Wad. In terms of starters, we think Homam El Amin is a likely starter, and Sultan Al Buraik a possible starter there. Over to the right side, where we actually have no definite or likely candidates, people familiar with Qatar might be surprised to see Pedro Miguel just as a possible candidate here, but so he is. He got selected nevertheless, and so did the second possible candidate, Ayoub Al-Oui. There. However, a third possible candidate, Abdullah Youssef, not making the squad. Okay, that's all. Let's talk about starting positions. Pedro Miguel, we give him 1 star as a starter, but we think it's more likely as a central defender where he has found a new home. And that's because Ayoub Al-Oui seems to have taken over the spot here as a right back. I would give him almost 3 stars there, but being conservative, we'll give Ayoub Al-Oui 2 stars as a likely starter. Up to the midfield, and we have no definite candidate coded as defensive midfielder, but we have a likely candidate in Mohamed Al-Maneh, and he's a kind of an interesting case. I'm going to actually adjust because I should have done this in section 2. We are going to give him 1 star as a possible starter, but believe it or not, as an attacking midfielder or forward. I'll get to that story a bit later, but keeping his name in mind, he hasn't started really in the midfield there, but later on in the period towards the end of 2025 was starting as an attacker. So Mohamed Al-Maneh was selected. Our 2 possible candidates, Jassim Gabber, also called Abdul Salam, was selected. And our second possible candidate, Karim Boudiaf, also selected there. But the third possible candidate, Guillermo Torres, not making the squad there. So 3 candidates here, coded as defensive midfielders, and then 3 more central midfielders coming up. Definite candidate Ahmed Fatih was selected. Likely candidate Abdulaziz Hatem, also selected, and the first of 3 possible candidates, Asim Madibo, selected for the final squad, but the other 2 possible candidates not making it. I'm a bit surprised with Mostafa Mashal or Mostafa Tariq not being selected, and the other one is Khaled Mohammed, not selected. So in this case, I'll briefly summarize the names that did make it. Mohamed Al-Maneh, Jassim Gabber, Karim Boudiaf, Ahmed Fatih, Abdulaziz Hatem, and Asim Madibo. I don't know if that really helped you for me to do that. Let's look at the starters. A lot of rotation in the midfield. It's quite hard to tell who is going to start, but we have Ahmed Fatih as a likely starter, and also Jassim Gabber or Jassim Abdul Salam as a likely starter. We basically give 1 star to all of the others. But again, Mohamed Al-Maneh, it's more as a forward that we give him the star. Abdulaziz Hatem, a possible starter. Asim Madibo, also a possible starter, and Karim Boudiaf. We're also going to give central defender Issa Lahi 1 star as a possible starter here. So quite mixed up, but they do often use 3 positions in a 4-3-3 formation in the midfield. So there is a bit more room for players to show up. Let's move upfield to left attackers. Here we place definite candidate Akram Afif, but actually he plays here as a central attacking midfield or secondary striker, and often quite often as a forward as well. So Akram Afif was selected for the squad. And I'll just say right here that we're going to give him 3 stars as a definite candidate, but we're not sure where he's going to start. It could be here or in the other positions I mentioned. The other candidate here is Tahsin Jamshid at the possible level. That newcomer was selected for the final squad there. He's definitely more of a backup player, though. Over to right attackers, we have definite candidate Ed Nielsen Jr., also a new candidate. None at the likely level, but 5 at the possible level, and this time my counting is correct. Let me start with the two who made it, Ahmed Al-Ganahi and Yusuf Abdurisak. Both of those successfully selected. The other three, though, not making the final squad, Ismail Mohammed, Mohammed Khaled Gouda, and Khalid Ali Sabah. None of those selected. In terms of starters, they're moving around a bit, so we're not dead sure really about this position, who will start in this position. We're going to give one star to Ed Nielsen Jr. as a possible starter, but also Yusuf Abdurrazak, kind of very strong at the beginning of the period, kind of off in the middle of the period, and then came back a bit stronger at the end. So he's a possible candidate as well. Up we go to central attackers or across, really. No definite or likely candidates here. Just the possible candidate and captain of the team, Hassan Al-Haydos, but he's more of a lucky charm here. He didn't start any games over the period. We're waiting for him not to be selected for a squad, but he seems to be a bit of a talisman there. So Hassan Al-Haydos was selected for the game. If we see him, though, we'll probably see him coming on as a substitute. That brings us to the forward line. Almoez Ali is our first candidate. He's at the definite level. He is selected. Our likely candidate, Mohamed Muntari, also selected. And our possible candidate, Ahmed Ala El-Din, or Ahmed Ala El-Din Abdel Motal, also selected for the squad. In terms of starters, well, I'd be surprised, honestly, if Almoez didn't start in the first game, but we don't have the evidence to put him as a definite starter, so we have him as a likely starter. Interesting discussion about him in the in section 2. Mohamed Muntari and Ahmed Ala El-Din, we don't really see as starters. We think more likely that defensive midfielder, Al-Mane, and the right attacking midfielder, Al-Ganahi, might have a better start or a better chance of starting. But let's be fair and say it's an equal chance, I would say, with Mohamed Muntari. And of course, more likely than all of those is Akram Afif. Okay, that brings us to the end of our Spotlight review. And we're going to look at some surprises in the squad, beginning with notable non-selections. Well, central defender Tariq Salman, we considered a likely candidate, but he wasn't selected for the squad. Technically, he's the only one, the only surprising non-selection, but I'm going to add Mohammed Wad. He was just a possible candidate, truth be told, but I am a bit surprised that he was not selected for the squad. And then surprise selections. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. There were no surprise selections on the final squad that came from the seemingly off the squad or possible but unlikely level, so technically none here. But I just have to say, Sebastian Soria, or Sebastian Saboria Quintana, brought back in, having last played. Well, he did play in March 17, but his last tournament was the Asian Cup in 2012. So what a return, 43 years old now. And not only played over the period, subbing in for one game there, but named for the preliminary squad. So that would have been something, but alas, it was not to be. No new players added to the squad. All of the players there had been on our list. And that's it for the surprises section. So not a lot of surprises there. Tariq Salman being the biggest. Big names off the squad. Well, we did cover this in section 1, so let's just repeat the names of the candidates. Saad Al-Sheeb, the goalkeeper, is off the squad. He was a starter at the beginning of the 2022 World Cup, actually lost his starting position there. Now off the squad. Hasn't played until November 2024, but sorry, I'm giving details where I should just give the names. Secondly, we have left back Abdel Karim Hassan, or Abdel Karim Hassan Fadlala. He was a possible but unlikely candidate here, but given that he wasn't selected, and we didn't think he would be. We had his name on the list. The other one we didn't think would be selected is Hassan Al Haydos. Again, Qatar fans may be saying, "What are you thinking?" Of course, he would be selected. The fact is, he didn't start any games over the period, so we thought he might have had his last blast in the Gold Cup. In the Asian Cup there in 2024, the beginning of 2024. But he was selected, and he'll probably get onto the field as a substitute, at least so that people can clap. And then Sebastian Sora, I guess we thought he wouldn't really make the squad. We were surprised, though he did make the preliminary squad, but truly probably off the squad now. Any new big names off the squad due to non-selection for this tournament? Yes, we have two. The first one is Ismail Mohammed. He's a right attacking midfielder, secondarily a right back. 93 caps for the national team since 2013. And needless to say, all of these players have been through several tournaments, so I won't go through that history. But Ismail Mohammed did actually start 5 of their 25 games over this period, as well as subbing in for 4, and he was a possible candidate. But now he's 35 years old. It'll probably be that'll probably be it for him. You never know. The other one is Al-Mahdi Ali Mukhtar, and he was a starter in the 2023 Asian Cup. That's why we put him on the list. 47 caps, so not quite a veteran. Since 2012, and actually just 34 years old, so there's a chance of him coming back. But he was a possible but unlikely candidate in this period. Didn't start any games and just subbed in for 2. So Al-Mahdi Ali Mukhtar seemingly off the squad there. Let's look at injury situations. Well, we thought Tariq Salman's situation, non-selection, was due to him receiving a red card in his last qualification game, and we thought, well, he'd be suspended for at least 1 game, possibly more. It goes 1 to 3 games, depending on the severity of the reason for the red card. And what we learned is that he wouldn't have been suspended under what I call the Cristiano Ronaldo forgiveness rule. The Cristiano Ronaldo FIFA forgiveness rule, wherein if you get a red card and you're a really famous player, you don't have to serve it during a tournament. So I imagine there are some other players who are raising their hand and saying, well, if he gets that, I get that. And I think that would have been the case for Tariq Salman. But in fact, he wasn't selected, and we're not sure that had anything to do with his situation at all. So we're not talking about an injury here, we're talking about a suspension, but he was not selected. We don't think, again, that it's specifically due to that suspension. So we'll just take him off the list there. The other player actually was an injury concern, Almoez Ali. I forgot to mention it during part 2, but that's basically because it was a non-issue, out with an unknown injury in October of 2025, but came back and played a game, so it didn't really affect anything as far as this cup goes. So anyway, they'll be happy. Almoez Ali is here, and new injuries, there are none. So we are finished our business suddenly and violently. Closing thoughts on Qatar. I don't really have any. I do hope they do a little better in this World Cup than they did in the last one. If you would have seen them in the 2020 or in the last 2 Asian Cups where they won the title, they were pretty awesome to behold, even playing against strong teams like Japan and Iran and stuff like that. So at least I would like to see them put their best foot forward and at least show some of that ability in the World Cup. Unfortunately, it didn't happen when they hosted, but a lot of the same players are here and will be motivated to show their stuff a little better here. As long as it's not against Canada, then I really hope they put their best foot forward. That brings us to the end on that biased note. the end of our mediacast, and we will continue to do teams. I think we're going to run out of time here, but we'll do our best to get through as many teams as we can, and we'll meet you in the next one. We would like to thank Michael Foster and Pixabay for the wonderful music in this mediacast. The title of the piece used is Look to the Sky, Tribal Dance Beats Native American.